So I wanted to make a clarification on this exercise. When I was explaining it, I think I misexplained it because Danny came up and corrected me, and he was absolutely right. Right. So let me just go over this one more time, and hopefully I'll get it right this time. So we have this class hierarchy: bird, parrot, parakeet. We have owl, right? So a parrot is a bird. So if bird has a color and parrot has a saying, right? Like a saying, like something that he says. Um, well, then parrot has a saying and he also has a color because he inherits from bird, right? So parrot inherits all of the instance fields from bird and all of the methods from bird, right? Now parrot is different from a bird because parrot can also have additional instance fields. It can also have additional methods, and it can also override any of the existing methods up here in bird, right? So if bird up here has something like fly, right, and fly causes the bird's x position to change by 5, right? Well, here in parrot, maybe parrot flies slower than a bird does, so parrot would override bird's fly method, and instead of moving forward 5 on the x-axis, it would move 2 on the x-axis, right? So that's kind of the dynamic that we're working with here. And something that I pointed out was from Blue Pelican, right? So we're over here in Blue Pelican, and this is the line that has stuck out with me and that has been my lighthouse as I wade through all of the objects and classes questions, right? It's that this is the object name, right? And this is the class. So class, object name, new, class, right? This class here specifies the object type and what methods the object can use. That's very, very important, right? And then this second class over here specifies where the methods are implemented, right? Or where the definitions are that are going to be run. So yeah, that's kind of the key to a lot of these questions. So when we're over here, we're looking at this first line, and we're thinking, okay, this first class specifies which methods B1 can use, right? And then this class over here specifies where that method was defined. So let's say we say B1 dot fly, right? Well, that's legit. That's fine because bird has a fly method, right? And then where is it going to run the method? Well, it's going to run the method here in parrot, right? Because parrot has overridden bird's fly method. Okay. Let's assume that parrot did not override bird's fly method, right? What would happen then? Well, b.fly, well, this line of code would be fine, right? For reasons that we gave a little earlier. But if we did b1.fly, then it would look in parrot for the definition for fly. It wouldn't find it there. But since parrot inherits from bird, parrot has all of the methods from bird. So parrot would run bird's fly method. Okay, and b1 would run bird's fly method. So yeah, that's kind of how that goes. And to give you a more concrete example, I coded it a bit here. Let's see, is there another one? Okay, this one's it here. So I kind of deconstructed the problem to just be bird and parrot, right? And we're over here in the driver, and I say bird B is a new bird. I print everything out, and then I run eat, and then I print everything out again, right? And if we look inside a bird, you can see we have a sound instance field, and we have a weight instance field, right? We initialize them here in the constructor, and then when we eat, the weight goes up by 1, right? So weight was 2, I eat, weight goes up to 3. And then we have a fly method here. And how does fly work? Well, when you fly, you exercise, so weight would go down by 1, right? And of course, I have this little check to see if my weight can go down by 1. And if it can't, then it says I'm too weak to feed me, right? And then down at the bottom, we have the toString, which prints out the sound and the weight. Okay, so we run this code, and what are we going to get? We're going to get sound is cheap, and then weight 2. We're going to eat. That's going to increase the weight by 1. and then we're going to print everything out again. So it's going to print out cheap and 3, right? So let's go ahead and run that, see what happens. Okay, so everything was fine, right? As expected. And now let's go ahead and change this up to be parrot. All right, so if we look in the parrot class, which extends bird, right? If we look here, right, parrot extends bird, so parrot is a bird. We have the sound being set to caw, the weight being 10 because parrots are bigger than most birds, and then we have the eat. Parrots probably eat more, so we go increase the weight by 2, and then we have a die method, right? And the die method is like the parrot died, and weight goes down to 0 after he gets blown away by the dust, right? So when we run eat here, what should be printed out when we run? Well, first of all, can this run, right? And so yes, it can run, right? Because bird is the superclass of parrot, and this first class specifies what methods are available to use for B to use, and this class represents where those methods are defined. So this is legit because all of the methods found in bird can be run by parrot, right? Because even if parrot doesn't define or override any of those methods, he still has all of bird's methods available to use, right? Because he inherited from bird. So there's no inconsistency here. So this is going to run fine, no compiler errors. And it's going to print out caw and 10. We're going to eat, so that's going to increase weight by 2 to 12, and it's going to print out caw and 12, right? Let's see if that's what happens. So we run this. Caw 10, caw 12. Okay, great. So now what about if we do B? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and change this up to be parrot P. Let's just leave it at B, but let's think of our mind B being P, and then we do bird here, right? Is that legit? Is that going to work? Well, what I stated in class was that was going to work, but as Danny stated, it's not going to work, right? And so why not? Because this first class tells you what methods are available. This class here tells you where those methods are defined. So you can see here with parrot that we have the die method, right? Over here in bird, we don't have the die method, right? Because parrot is different from bird, right? And so this statement here is saying B is able to use the die method, and you will find its definition in bird. No, that's not gonna fly. It's not gonna work. And when I compile it, it says incompatible types error message, right? As it should. And so I guess the moral of the story here is that you cannot go up in the hierarchy, but you can go down in the hierarchy. That's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it is this here is the class that defines what methods are available. This is where they're defined. And if that makes sense, then great, right? And if that doesn't make sense when you're looking at it, then that'll give you clues on how to answer this question correctly, right? And I think that's about it.